We're in sunny South Wales in the pouring rain, and we're going to show you a client's turnkey investment property.
So this property's been bought by one of our London-based clients. So obviously London's like 3 hours away from here. They've bought it for £85,000. The actual market value that we expect the property to be worth is £105,000, with a rental income of over £700 per calendar month. So the actual yield, and yield dictates cash flow, the actual yield of the property is almost 10%. Now for a buy to let, that is absolutely fantastic. So it means great cash flow for the investor, and they'll have almost 20 grand worth of equity from day one. I'll feed into how this has all happened in this video, and importantly, the project itself, why we've got paint everywhere, why we've got all these bits and bobs, and also why this is a turnkey and what a turnkey actually is.
So how has this project even come about? And yeah, where do we currently stand now? So our client's from London, about 3 hours drive away. This is their second project with us, so it's absolutely fantastic for them. Really scaling their portfolio in South Wales with us. They've approached us with a capital budget of around about £40,000. And the goal with them is to find a turnkey property investment. A turnkey is something that requires next to no renovation at all. So literally almost good to move in straight away once you purchase. Buy it with a mortgage, 2-year, 3-year mortgage. And then at the end of the mortgage, they can get a new mortgage at the actual market value of 105, and they can pull most of the money back out using a 75% loan to value mortgage. So a very smart way to do it, and great for long-term investing. So really happy for them. So they've approached us with the budget. Like I said, it's the second project with us, so we got a good relationship. We're very big from our side on trust building and kind of making sure that we're true to our word with what we actually present, and making sure that communication is good and we're providing a good service at the end of the day, because we're very service based and we really want to build great relationships with people for the long term. So anyway, they approached us. We found this property for them. Like I said, the market value of this one is £105,000. The purchase price, we managed to secure it. Motivated vendor, motivated owner of the property. The vendor is the owner. We managed to secure it for £85,000, so great equity from day one. And the gross rental income, £700 a month, means that the cash flow is great. So we've organised, basically funded the property. We presented it to them. They've done the conveyancing, obviously, to purchase the property. And now we're at a stage now where we're just doing a few touch-ups to the property. So the painting, flooring in the kitchen as well. Get the gas and electric certification done, because for a buy-to-let, you have to have electrical and gas certificates completed and passed for it to be legally a buy-to-let, especially in South Wales, or Wales in general. And so we're organising all this for them. The client's never been to the property. They've never seen the property in person, obviously, and everything can be done from afar. So we've got this London-based client. We've got international clients in Dubai, Asia, Scotland, America, who are doing the same model with us, because we can invest with anyone from anywhere as long as they've got the pot of cash to invest. So we're organising this for them, where we're doing the works. As soon as this is done, I've got a letting agent in the local area that I'm organising for them to get the property letted out, get a tenant in here, and get the cash flow going. Here is the kitchen, and the one thing I want to point out for the kitchen is it's very standard, very buy-to-let. So you've got your hob there, you've got units, you've got a practical functioning kitchen. The only thing we had to change in the kitchen, funny enough, was the flooring, and you can see how nice and fresh it is now. I'll get a photo up of what it was like before, because basically there was a covered up damage. So when we initially saw the property, before we presented to said client, we saw a nice, a neutral flooring that was very practical and long term. We found out once it was dug up, because we had a few concerns about it, there was actually a damage in the middle of it, which the letting agent brought up, which we had to rectify. So that's been replaced with a nice, fresh, bright, long-term, let's say a flooring that's got longevity, which is really, really important. One thing I really want to add on this apartment is the size of the kitchen. Now, the reason for this is we've approached this kitchen. Yes, we've put new flooring in because of the damages. Yes, that's really important. But the size of the kitchen can really, really benefit and add so much value to a property. It's the exact same logic for a bathroom. So kitchens and bathrooms, if you come up to any property and you want to maximize the value of the property, we do the same with our clients. If we've got a little boxed-in kitchen, we want to maximize the space of it. We don't want it to be absolutely massive, but you want to make sure that a tenant wants to come in here and make it their home via a large family open kitchen so they can utilize it and move freely. So that's really, really important. And genuinely with valuations, the value of the property can literally be affected by the size and practicality of a kitchen and bathroom. So just some points there. If you guys are doing renovations, and it feeds perfectly into what we do. Like, we do a lot of renovations for clients in South Wales, and we always aim to maximize the value of the property as much as possible within reason. And one of the greatest things you can do is, yes, you can add bedrooms, but maximizing the size of the kitchen and bathroom and the spec of them, depending on your exit, can be really, really beneficial. So here we are upstairs in one of the bedrooms. You've got the new flooring in here. You've got new painting, again, to make it cosmetic. Funny enough, cosmetic works can actually add value to property. It's not significant, but it can make it more appealing. If you've got a tenant wanting to come here and they see it's new, freshly painted, it adds so much more appeal, and you can actually charge more as the investor, which means that your cash is going to be higher. So yeah, that's fantastic. And one thing that I really want to point out on this one, because it's a 2-bed terrace property in South Wales, which is very, very common, there's a general thought process on 2 to 3 beds, right? Where typically people want to add bedrooms and get 3 or more bedrooms per property, which is fantastic because you're increasing the value of the property. But I wouldn't be too deterred from 2 beds for this reason, right? If you're going to get, and let's say this street, for example, that we're in here, if you've got a 3-bed in this area that's worth, for example, £120,000, the rental income isn't going to be too far off. So the actual cash flow is lower, but the actual property price can increase better over time. Because if you've got, a 5% appreciation, which is expected in South Wales, like South Wales is expected to appreciate by over 25% over the next 5 years, right? So if you've got a property that's worth £120,000, that will appreciate more over time, over the time period. But then if you've got a property that's worth 105, but the actual rental income is near enough the same, the cash flow from the 2-bed is higher. It's a cheaper property with about the same rental income. It's going to be a little bit less, but not too much less. So the actual rental income is about the same. Well, sorry, rental income is a bit different, but the cash flow is much higher. The 3-bed tends to have a little bit less cash flow, but the appreciation is much higher. So what I would do is, for anyone watching this, if you're investing in 2, 3 beds, looking to just add bedrooms, add value, think of your exit. Typically, I agree that I love 3 beds because I love appreciation. I think appreciation is a powerhouse. If you have a portfolio of appreciating assets like properties that you can just let them forget, as in rent out and forget, I think you're in the best position possible, and that's gold dust in my opinion. That's what I do for my own portfolio as well. But on the flip side, if you do 2 beds, don't be deterred because you can still have an appreciating asset, but the cash flow will be higher, which means you can actually use the cash flow to save more, to reinvest later. So both very, very strong, but don't be too deterred by 2 beds. That's my advice for this video. So I'm now in the 2nd bedroom, and the thing I want to point out is the numbers on this. So yes, we can talk about the 2-bed, the 3-bed element, we can talk about all these bits and bobs, but at the end of the day, what this comes down to, and what our service comes down to, is people from anywhere, London, Scotland, America, Netherlands, wherever in the world. We've got lots of Cornwall-based clients at the moment as well, so it's really fantastic. We can work from anyone from anywhere. What are their needs and what can we fulfill? I.e., they have capital they want to invest. How can we help them do that? So typically, we help people build a portfolio by run their properties to renovate them, increase the value significantly, and then get a refinance on the back end to recycle the cash. So the standard BRR method, which in South Wales is so popular because it's so effective, and we do it for our own portfolio. I do it for mine, love it. This client has got a different, more patient method, which is still absolute gold dust. And the reason for that is, again, they've got capital, they want to buy with a mortgage, buy with equity, secure the equity, which is going to appreciate in the next 2 years anyway, so they'll have even more equity. So technically for them, this is an all money out deal, where if the property is worth, let's say, goes from 105 to 115 in that time period of the next 3 years, which is very realistic, then if they get the 75% loan to value mortgage at the 115, and the rent's gone up in that time period because rents are always increasing and rents continue to increase, they're going to have still good cash flow, and the actual bank is going to, what the bank's going to loan them is going to pretty much pay off everything they've already done. So they're going to be back to square one in terms of capital and have an appreciating cash flow and asset on the back end, which I think is absolute gold dust. So that's fantastic. Now, I'll be honest with you, This isn't for everyone, this method that they've done. They're a very patient investor. They like to build the pot up and just invest it. They don't want to have big refurbs. I the refurb method of BR is a lot more effective because it's a lot quicker. So I recommend everyone that invests with us does the BR method, because within 6 months you can buy a property, renovate it, leave about 10 grand in a deal, and then build it that way. And that's a really fast, effective way of building a portfolio. Whereas this client will have to build the capital up through work because they got a good income and they can invest it that way. It's a very smart way of doing it. Yeah, so I hope I gave context on that. In terms of the actual returns on this video, on this investment, sorry, for the video. So again, bought for 85, it's worth 105. Rental income, we expect to be £700, maybe we can push 725. So the yield is 9.9. I'll say 10% just because of the video to simplicity. So 10% yield. So great cash flow. So over £250 per calendar month net monthly income. So the actual money they'll have in the bank after all expenses. So mortgage, insurance, any void periods, potential void periods, everything. So all those costs included, that's the net income. The actual return investment, which is all this really comes down to, is a return, is 18%. So if you think of the banks, what they do, 4%, if you think of all these other investments you can do, which are higher risk and higher reward, if you've got a bricks and mortar, safest houses investment, that you're getting 18% minimum on the first year of investment, how cool is that? And bear in mind, that's just the first year. Investments compound, because if you've got this going up by value every year and the rental income increasing every year, you've got something that's worth 18% the first year and then 22% next year, 26%, and it keeps increasing because your equity is going up, your actual cash flow is going higher, you could charge more for the rent, and the property is still exactly the same, just in a more lucrative area, right? Or the area's increasing in value. So this is the power of property and investing correctly. If you've got 20k of equity in one property investment, imagine if you had 10, right? Imagine if you had a starting pot of 100k, you invest into 10 of these within 5 years, and in 5 years' time, you had a portfolio of 10 properties, right? So you started with 100k, you invest in 10 of these properties. After 5 years, you've got 10 of these with 20k of equity in. You pulled all that equity out and then reinvested it. You're doubling your capital. You're increasing your portfolio much, much quicker, and you're just investing your money a lot quicker, and it's compounding. You just start with 100k, you invest into 10 of these, recycle your cash that way, to the point where literally you've got 200k of equity, and the cash flow from the portfolio is making you over £3,000 per calendar month. Most of our clients reach £5,000. That's net income every single month. So the net cash flow in their back pocket after 5 years can be £5,000 in the background. So they got a company that they've created, they put the portfolio into it, they've got the equity building in the long run, but the cash flow is also accumulating alongside it. You've got rental increases, increasing the cash flow as well, and all these appreciating situations benefit the client to the point of within 5 years' time, they got the cash flow and the appreciation to pull the equity out and reinvest. And you can go from building a 10 property portfolio to 20, 30 in the space of like 10 years using this method. And it's exactly what we do ourselves. So we've aggressively done this ourselves for our own portfolio, and we've had other people do it for the past 3-4 years, and it's been absolutely incredible. In fact, I've been in property investing myself for 7 years, so I've been doing this myself for that time period. So I'm back downstairs, and I want to finalize the video with what we do and why this has all come about, why this is so effective, what we do, and how we've helped over 150 people the past 12 months alone. Right, we're able to help a lot of people at scale because what we do is very effective, and we can help people from anywhere. So it allows us to help a lot of people better, right? So to move on to that, the reason that we exist is for people who have capital available and want to get into property but don't know how, or don't want to have the patience of getting it wrong, and want to have the trusted team. So I had a client yesterday, for example, I talked to, who lives in up north, but actually north of London. Different client from this project, but I was talking to him, and he was like, I have tapped on the bank, got about 100k there, and he wants to build a portfolio in somewhere like South Wales, where it's more affordable. Property prices in South Wales, in the valleys where we invest, is around about £100,000 done up, or 120k is very standard, but the actual capital required to get into it, into any project, to buy with all cash, is around about £100,000. So he's got the budget for it. He lives in north of London, so the property prices around him are crazy expensive. He's known about property, but doesn't really know what to do, doesn't really know how to kind of get involved. And the beauty with us is you can reach out. We create a 5-year plan with him to say, look, you're here with this capital, this budget. You have little experience. You've bought a house, but you don't really have experience of property investing, because buying a property for your home, residential home to live in for yourself, compared to an investment is different. Because as an investment, it's a business. Whereas residential property, you're buying it because you want to make it your home, you want to make it lovely and everything, right? Different type of approach. So we can help with this a lot. People come out to us, they got the capital, we create a 5-year plan with them to say, look, the whole point of property, it's an investment vehicle. And where do you want to get to? So you're here, what income do you want from it? What sort of like status do you want? Do you want to give your kids financial future with this? Do you want it to benefit them? Do you want to benefit your grandparents? Or sorry, your parents, etc. Who are you trying to support, and what does that look like financially, and how can we get you there? And we schedule this out. Typically, our clients' budgets range from about 100 grand to 200 grand plus. We've got a couple of clients in Asia who've got over £200,000, and they work effectively because we can invest with them and build it together. So that's really effective. The whole point of us existing is we have the build teams here. We've got 3 build teams we work with in South Wales consistently. In fact, we've got about 16 projects on the go right now, renovating for clients and for ourselves. It's a really effective way of building a portfolio for other people that way. And we're fully leveraged in the sense of people come up to us, we do all the work, and they get the benefits. They get to build a portfolio. We do the work. We also build a portfolio, and it's a very mutual benefiting situation where we can build everyone's wealth because we got the team and expertise, and we do this every single day. And then, the investor gets a great return on their investment. So that's fantastic. So really pleased with this outcome. This is obviously, this client situation is a bit different, but in general, I just want to outline the way that we work with clients, and especially the way this has benefited that client.